Welcome, everybody. We've got a really interesting one for you today because I've been trying to figure out how to duplicate me on social media, and it just hasn't happened right until I talked to these guys. I'm really happy where we're going. I've tested this out a few times. You can go and check me out on my Tristan and Associates Instagram so you can see what that looks like. But the reason I'm excited is because where we're heading as an industry is more along the ways of where they fit into this. And that's we need to be the ones that interpret what's happening and showcasing what we think is happening in the community with news, locally in a niche area. And so Purab and Matt here have created this amazing company called Rejig. And I get the, for some reason, guys, when I'm trying to type it into the computer, I'm like okay, it's G or J? And I know it's easy, but I have like dyslexia and I'm confused all the time.
It's
But
a
it's
long,
does it happen to you guys at the beginning or no?
it's a long-running branding and naming discussion that we've had together. So we are now fully accustomed to it. But
Yes.
the situation that you described, just know that you're not alone.
Oh, God, I thought it was just me. I'm like, I suck. I suck at
It
this.
needs to rejigger, right? Like you're taking content from one form and then rejiggering as another. That's the reason behind it, right? Like somebody till you get that, it's like, oh, what is this? What does this mean? But yeah.
That makes sense. Makes sense, guys. All right. Quick intro. Tell me who you guys are and why you created Rejig, and then let's get right into it.
Well, I'm Purab, co-founder Rejig AI. The reason to create Rejig, I think, is small business owners. We have seen people struggle with growing just marketing in general. So we started out broad as like a small business. Any small business owner could come in and just have marketing done for them. And over time, over past 2 years, we have been solely focused on real estate, and that's working out great.
Perfect. Matt?
Yep, I'm the other co-founder of Rejig. Purab and his team build it. Me and my team sell it. So we do lots and lots of discussions with brokerages and agents and teams. So everything that we're about to see today, Purab and his team built. And if anybody on this call finds it interesting, you'll be talking to me or someone on my team to hopefully bring you aboard as a customer.
I like it. And really quick, everyone, let us know what city, what state, what country you're from. As I know, we're all over the place here. Michael, what's up, Tulsa? How's the weather in Tulsa today, man? Valerie, where are we? Is Pennsylvania? You got a lot of areas there you cover. And Jennifer, Kansas City. Everyone else, we'd like to know where you're from. Where do you guys want to start with this? With what will work on social in 2026?
Yeah, so I think we wanted to start off with just like let me just go through the slides real quick. Like I think starting with like just reinforcing that social media matters. It's always mattered. And then there was this September 2025 NAR published their latest report on their survey on which are the tools that matter most for real estate agents in terms of delivering quality leads. And social media, again, I think it was the same last year and the year before, social media ended up being the highest in terms of quality leads over CRM, your own websites, etc. Right?
Okay.
And we know that in terms of, we know 90% of the searches for home buying begins online, and we know 44 billion or so real estate transactions have been driven on social media. So what we wanted to talk about today is like what's winning and why, and what we should. So we want to look at the algorithm, like the reasons behind it, and dig in and have a discussion on that. That's what we come in with. Yeah.
Perfect. I have a question about the previous slide really quick. Not the next one. That one. That everyone watching, that is an important slide to possibly add to your listing presentation, because if you're going to layer it in with showing the consumer live, hey, this is what we're going to do for you using Rejig, the automation of creating all of this great content for listings and to get buyers in an area. This layers the importance of why you're doing that. A lot of people don't understand. So giving them the actual data as part of your listing presentation, that's pretty powerful. All right, that's all I wanted to show.
By the way, if anybody is interested, just to kind of build off of what Tristan just said, if you do want a copy of this presentation and this slide, just drop your email in here and we'll make sure that I'll get it out to you at the end of this webinar.
Perfect. That's easy. You'll just get a whole bunch of emails. That's all. Everybody, put your emails on there, and then we'll send them over right now in the webinar.
Be careful what you wish for. Is that what you're?
That'll be good, because then you have to collect them. Well, actually, hold on. You could just take a snapshot right now, Matt, and have ChatGPT extract all the emails. That'll be easy.
Look at that. I love it.
Yeah.
I see some KW folks in here. I love it. This is great.
All right, keep going, Puro.
All right, so I'm gonna, like, this is more for the real estate agent, right? Like, what should they be doing on social, right? So just to look at what's been working. So these are just a few examples, but you see a lot of these just take off. And what we call them is like these talking head videos, where you'll find channels that have come up where they share a piece of content almost every single day. And each one is about like a broad topic, not necessarily all real estate, but less real estate and more just broad topics in general. And each one would have like some sort of a profile of a real estate agent, like a video, whether it's the agent talking themselves or maybe it's their AI avatar. But that's what we see. And some of them, like Houston Unlocked here, is like, I think they started last December and this just took off like 33,000 followers. And we see this theme work. So we want to talk about the why behind it, right? Like, so this slide is from Instagram themselves, right? So the reason to understand this or talk about it is like a lot of times, like we see some success of others doing certain things and we don't necessarily know the why. So we try it like half-baked and then fall off. But if you look at like this Instagram algorithm, they clearly lay out why that strategy seems to work, right? So I'm going to spend a little bit of time on this, but I wanted to start off from the right-hand side, like in terms of think about you as a user. When you log into Instagram, what do you see? So what you're seeing essentially is you scroll through and 70-80% of the content you see is from people you don't follow, the recommended content, right? So if you're into exercises and workout videos, then the moment you start scrolling, you're going to see like workout videos from people who you don't even follow, right? So how did that content come up to you? So what it does is like Instagram said this, where they're like, hey, this is how their algorithm promotes content. So let's say you're a stand-up comedian, like this lady here in the reel. What it does is the moment she publishes a small reel about some topic, Instagram is going to do a soft test again for that reel and says like, okay, which are the potential people or audience who may like the content of the reel, and it will put that content in front of those people, and then it will say, okay, is this getting views? Is this getting engagement? Is this getting likes? Are people watching more than 3 seconds? And if so, then push it to a larger audience of people who may like comedy, and then further out to entertainment, right? So that's how the content ends up being on your feed. Now, what happens typically, what we see is when you share a real estate piece of content, just to use that same algorithm, how the algorithm would work is when you do, like, let's say only share an open house reel, or you share something very real estate specific, the same soft test is going to happen. That content is going to go in front of people who Instagram thinks is going to like this content. So if it's an open house in a specific area, its algorithm knows who are the potential buyers or sellers in that area and it's going to put content in front of them. And what happens is that audience, that pool is really small. And because that pool is small, it may not get enough signals to then go and percolate it to or expand it to a broader audience. So you'll keep releasing these reels that are around open house or like just real estate specific, and you never pass that soft test threshold to really grow and expand your reach. And what happens when you talk broader topics like restaurants or things to do or what's happening in the city or airport, it's going against like a broader group of people and people who like food and people who like local content. And within those groups are your actual audiences, your potential first-time home buyers, your potential people who want to move up to a different home, right? So this is what you see all of these channels do, right? You're talking broad. You do talk real estate, of course, because real estate is what you want to nurture your database with. But 95% of the times, probably they are not thinking about real estate. They're thinking about other things. So you want to put that content in front of them. So it not only expands your reach, which is, I think, super important depending on how algorithm works, and it also keeps your audience engaged.
That'd be kind of funny, Purab, if every single one of the videos I do with a listing, you'd pick a restaurant and be like, okay, let's see how far Chick-fil-A is from this one. That'd be hilarious. That would catch on after a while. Be like, oh, yeah, how far is Chick-fil-A from his listings?
Right. There could be an app doing that. Literally for every listing address, like where's the Chick-fil-A or whatever. So yeah, I mean, I think the same algorithm approach works for YouTube as well. Like we have been testing a few. This is Matt's, like some of the Matt's videos that we created, and you can see some of them have thousands of views. That's how the algorithm just works, and you can leverage it to your advantage to grow your reach, essentially. And what do you want to add, Matt? Because I'm sure you have a lot to say in all of this as well.
No, I mean, look, I think when we're dealing with agents, like a big part of the challenge and part of the reason that we built what we built is knowing what to share is part of the kind of challenge. You know, having stuff curated for you automatically is something that really resonates with agents. I think what you're kind of landing, which makes sense. And Tristan, maybe you could kind of fill in the blanks here, because like our understanding is that, you know, typically if you're looking at an agent's audience at any given time, like what is it, like 2 to 4 or 5% of your audience is potentially looking to buy or sell a home? Like it's not a big number, right?
Small.
So like, what do you communicate to the other 95, 96% of people that you're hoping to do business with? And so I think like Purab did a nice job of landing that, like from an algorithm perspective, like, hey, if I'm posting about listings and homes all the time or real estate related content, that's great. But if the majority of the people that you're trying to engage with are not interested in buying or selling a home at the moment, like this type of content, which is like hyper local and relevant, really seems to resonate. And I know that that's been something that's driven a lot of our kind of business with agents over the last year. So like for those of the folks who are watching this, like, and then Purab is also showing like what we're looking at here is like a AI avatar video creation, which is great for all of this, but the underlying idea works in any format. So like, I guess layered underneath or on top, the strategy for all of this is we're trying to help agents from an SEO perspective. We're trying to help agents from a generative engine optimization perspective, AKA how do you show up well in ChatGPT if somebody's looking for you? How do you show up well on Google if somebody's looking for you? So like the kind of why behind all of this is just to help everybody on this call show up well when somebody goes looking for them online, and to do it in a way where you don't have to spend a bunch of time on it. And you've seen this a little bit, right, Tristan? Like you've experimented with your own accounts. Like you did a really nice kind of avatar post about a new museum in Los Angeles, which I thought was awesome. So like, our job is to try to stuff. Say that again.
I'm going to test out some stuff. I think the key to this is being able to have a product where it simplifies finding relevant content for you and allows you to show up consistently over a very long period of time. And you guys have solved that because the relevancy of trending things in a community is extremely important on social media. That's why I love your product from the very beginning. Guys, you guys cover the whole world, right? It doesn't even matter. As long as there's Instagram and Facebook and in that country, right? Obviously.
Yeah, so there's a Natalia, hi Natalia, was asking if we work in Canada. We do. There may be some limitations. Like one of the things that if you think about like why we've zeroed in on real estate, like we'll do things like MLS integrations, we'll do market reports. Some of those things don't work as well in certain countries. But the kind of everything that Purab has showed today, like you said, if you're on Instagram and Facebook and Google Business, like we can work with it.
Yeah, I think if you could show me or show us how simple it is on the back end to create the content and then just set it so that it's creating the relevant content that you want. Can you showcase that on the back end so people can see what that looks like?
Matt, do you have that?
Well, I have mine.
Yeah, I mean, I've got, I think I saw that there's somebody on this call from Florida. So I've got something teed up right here that will just for Sarasota and Naples, Florida. So for those of you dialing in from Florida today, let me share my screen and I'll show you some examples. But just to like kind of set the table, like what we're going to look at is basically content that was curated for an agent in Naples, Florida automatically. Let's see. Where do we go? How do I share my screen?
Desktop sharing, so you should have.
All right.
Becky's got, what's up, Becky? Becky's got a really good question. Matt, is Rejig or Purab similar to real estate content AI? Thanks in advance. And how are they different?
Well, we have heard of them. We don't know all the details about their features and all that. I think we are, to the extent I know, I think the difference from what we have been told by other agents or customers who switched over, it's more about the quality of the content that we generate and create, like the images, the videos, the ease of use, and the depth of features is why people switch over. I don't know. I haven't done like a feature diff in terms of. All right,
I'll answer that one. Becky, they're different in the sense that real estate content AI allows me to create consistent content for the area that I'm in as far as real estate, very specific to real estate, which I like. Rejig, I think that the key to me is I can now report on relevant news in a community in a niche. And if we go back to one of the first slides or middle slides that Purab showed, where it shows you that we have to mix things, right? Relevancy of things that are happening in a community and real estate, trending things, and you mix that all together. I think that's the secret sauce. That's why I like Rejig, right? So I love it. That's how I see it.
And let me pick up on that just to kind of land that point. So what everybody is looking at is the dashboard that an agent would see when they have a Rejig account. And just to kind of build on what Tristan was just saying, what you'll notice up here in the top left-hand corner, these are all different types of content that the AI can be curating for you automatically. So it's going to create market updates for you. So like this is an agent in Naples, Florida, like I mentioned. So she's getting like a market report curated for her automatically every month, both in kind of static format as well as video format. The AI is connecting to her Google Business page and testimonial tree and Rate My Agent and Zillow, and automatically via API pulling in any of her reviews and turning them into these nice looking posts. The AI will automatically curate local news, industry news, like can link to the agent's blog. So like automatically, like just to kind of build on what Tristan was saying, like the AI is going to be curating content from all different sources. This is one of the agent's listings, but just to kind of walk us through really quickly, I'm going to give one specific example to kind of land this point. So in Naples, Florida, for those of you who don't know, it's like a pretty nice retirement and it's not only retirement, but there's a big kind of retiree community there. So
Mhm.
there's all these luxury developments being built in Naples, Florida. So what we're looking at here, this is an example of a story that the AI curated for this agent automatically. And what the AI did is it went out and found this story on Business Observer. So you can see here, like, this is a story that was published in a local business journal about 2 weeks ago. And the AI went out and found the story. You can see where it found the image. And it's a story about this new massive luxury development being put in place in Naples. So the AI went out and found that story, put the agent's branding on it automatically. Our design team will do that for them. It writes up a really nice summary of that story. So the Halcyon Residences and Marina project is set to transform the waterfront community. The main point I would want to land with you here is the AI is not like making stuff up. It is going out and finding stuff. It's not hallucinating. It's writing up these really nice summaries. It's linking off to the source material, adding hashtags. The only thing that the agent needs to do is decide to either have this scheduled to get published at a certain point, in which case the AI will be connected to all of your social media sites. But then to kind of build on what Purab was talking about, like, and this is what you've seen, Tristan, like, you can then take this article, drop that article into the URL or into this little box up here, have the AI create a video from that article, which it will do in a couple of minutes. And then that video can be narrated in the agent's voice or with the agent's AI avatar. So the way that we think about it is, for anything that's curated for you in Rejig, you have the ability to not only publish it immediately to every single one of your social media sites, you also have the ability to like hyper personalize anything that's created for you. Because, and you guys on this call all know this better than me, but like, you know, in the Naples, Florida area, there's probably thousands of agents. So part of the job is not only publishing content that's relevant, it's also doing it in a way that's personalized and memorable. So, you know, all of that type of stuff becomes super important. And, you know, just to kind of give you, because it will take a minute or two for me to do it here, but like what'll happen then is, and I think Purab had a couple of examples up of this, but like, so like here, Tristan, I just happen to have this up. So you've got like your Tristan and Associates account. The AI can go out and create these nice looking videos, in this case, about like the upcoming Olympic Games in Los Angeles. Here's a story about a massive new museum being put in LA. I think you'll be
ready for takeoff. Opening on September 22nd, 2026, the $1 billion museum.
So for everybody on this call, that was basically Tristan's AI avatar talking about a very local news story in the LA area. So I think like I went on a little bit of a ramble there, but like that is the idea behind the scenes. And like, just so everybody understands, like behind the scenes, you have the ability to have the AI automatically pulling content from news sources that you find relevant. And then there's also the ability to come in here and have the AI, this account is set up. So it's pulling stuff from Chicago because we were demoing there earlier. But you can see the AI is automatically going to pull in stuff that's relevant. And then you can have the AI create any story, or you can have the AI turn any story that it found for you into a post that can be shared. Did that answer the question, Tristan?
That did, man. That's exactly. I'm gonna remove the screen really quick. That's exactly. Let me go back to us. What I wanted to see, because part of the 2026 plan for social media is helping agents identify local niche community events, trending topics, just things that they can then share with their audience so that their audience tunes into them. Going back to that one slide that you had, that really demonstrates how it all works. If we're just throwing listings out and no information about local real estate or things to do, it becomes a challenge sometimes to show up more. And this simplifies it for us. So that's what I like.
Yeah, and I think one thing to keep in mind in 2026 as we go through it is like this whole thing about ChatGPT and people searching in ChatGPT, like best agent or who should I work with in this community, like the AEO or AI SEO or whatever. these LLMs, these large language models, are also searching and reading all the data that you're putting out there on social. It's not just your blog, or it's not just what they find. It's the entire web, which includes social media as well. So when you start sharing this content, you rest assured, I think 30 to 40% of content that ChatGPT uses is from social sites. So that's the other thing. By doing social, you're feeding the AI SEO or generative GEO or whatever. There's just too many words out there for it. And I feel like what I see is there's this short-term hacks that people are doing. Like, I'm going to create 5 articles and I'm just going to publish them and ChatGPT will rank me. It'll work temporarily till the new articles come about and the large language model retokenizes everything, or there's a new version of the LLM that gets released, which like operates underlying differently, right? The algorithm differently. So you don't want to rely on those short-term hacks. What you want to do is just create meaningful content and spread it across the entire channels, all the channels available to you. And that's how make sure the ChatGPT can see you, and only if it can see you, it will be able to talk about you, right? Like, so I feel like that's something else to keep in mind going into 2026. It's going to matter more and more as more and more people go into ChatGPTs of the world to search for things and ask questions. Not
That's
just
true.
ChatGPT, Perplexity, like Gemini.
Well, when you look at what it's pulling from ChatGPT
Sources, right.
It's pulling also from Instagram a lot, right?
Correct.
And it's pulling from LinkedIn and obviously blogs, right? But if you're hitting up all those 3 when you're populating it through Rejig, or listen, you can do it on your own too. Whichever route you're going, it's going to be pulling from those. So that should be part of your 2026 plan as well.
Yeah, we tell agents that like everything, maybe with even with the AI avatar, like everything that we have showed you here today, like the agent can do on their own.
Yeah.
The value that we believe that we provide is that, like, at the end of the day, whether you refer to it as leverage or a system or whatever the case may be, our job is to, in our view, our job is to try and create a digital marketing assistant for real estate agents so that they have an assistant that's going to go out and find this information, turn it into valuable content that can be shared across all of their social media sites. We can also show them how to use it on their blogs and their newsletters. So, and as you know, Purab's going to put up a QR code here in a second, but like, it's dramatically more affordable and effective than what we see out there and what we hear from agents all day long that they're paying for. But yeah, the goal is to just make sure that you are, and like one of the things that we hear a lot is I want to be the mayor of my local town, not like the Matt Mayor, but the mayor, MAYOR. And that's our job, is to try and help you show up as the mayor of your local community.
Yeah, I think the key to this is going to be the automation. So you don't always have to show up for as long. I mean, I still have to show up, review it, make sure it's right. But once I put the items in place, it becomes a lot easier for me to show up consistently for a year, right? And I think the challenge is we in our 2026 social media plan, we're going to try to show up. We're going to start off strong in January, and then end of January shows up and I'm like, oh, I can't do it today. I'm too busy. And then February is like, and then by the time March is around, you're already back to how you were doing it in 2025. And that's a real challenge, because we look at what won elections over the last few years. It's all social media. If politicians are doing this and they know how important it is, and the 5 most visited websites in the world are Google, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and ChatGPT, what the hell are you doing? Like, this needs to be your core piece to survive and thrive in 2026.
And we'd love to chat with you, so please reach out. And we appreciate everybody's time today. We know you all are staring down the barrel of the holiday season, so we appreciate you making time for us, because I'm sure everybody's starting to feel the holidays approaching quickly.
Yeah, and by any chance, if you missed any part of this. It is recorded. And if you don't get an email with all of the presentation here, I think you can scan that. You could do a strategy call and they'll give you the whole presentation anyway as well. So guys, thanks for being on. Appreciate this. Everyone check out rejig.ai, and it's spelled REJIG.ai. I'm just saying it for me because I already forgot it.
And Joan, also, I saw a comment in there about, is this optimized SEO and GEO included? The answer is yes. Yeah. Everything that we've showed you is designed to help you with your SEO and GEO, and we're happy to walk you through it.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate the time. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.